What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy the Judgmental Podcast. No Philip today. I'm Leroy. This is our first foray into pro wrestling, and I got a special guest with me, my cousin Josh. So what's up, Josh?
What's happening? What's going on, man? How you doing?
All right. So Josh got a very interesting story about pro wrestling. Tell us, when did you first start liking it?
Oh man, I started liking it when I was a child, man. Like when I was in my teens, and that was like early teen. That was like the genesis of the Attitude Era. Stone Cold at the King of the Ring after he beat Jake the Snake Roberts, and it just gravitated towards me. After graduating high school and didn't have like a real clear direction, I joined the independent pro wrestling scene down here in Southeast North Carolina. So
Uh-huh.
so I stuck with it for a few years. I got severely injured and I had to retire. Man, my body was not handling it like anymore. So
So, like he said, Josh actually trained in pro wrestling and performed as a pro wrestler. Now, how when your first day in the pro wrestling school, how was it?
it was interesting. My my first day, I'm the biggest one in the class. I'm 6'2", 320 and at the time. You got guys that's 5'11", you know, buck 70 and all that. And the the first thing that they taught us was how to take a bump. And taking a bump for the first time is like uh, uh whiplash. You know, you don't do it with no helmet. You don't. I didn't do it with no helmet. You just you know slap your back to the mat, and there you go. But after that, running the ropes and stuff, it became good, man.
Right. So, the time from training and the time to your first match, what was it? When was it?
I say about 6 months.
Oh, okay.
6 months. My trainer told me at the time, you can't teach being a big man. You can't teach strength. You can't teach raw power, and at the that's what I was at the time. So um, my my ascension from the class to actually performing in front of a live audience was 6 months. But you know if smaller guys and stuff, more technical guys, they may take a little bit longer, a lot longer. But it was okay, man. It was good.
Right. So Josh pro wrestling name was the Big Stat, and he also has videos of his matches on YouTube. I'll post a couple on our Twitter or something so people can see you in action.
Man, I'm a long time ago, man.
So I started liking pro wrestling like back in the NWA days. My cousin used to watch it all the time, and I used to go over his house, and he would always, it was pro wrestling. After that, it was kung fu movies. So I like pro wrestling. I like kung fu movies. That's what started me. So this was back then. NWA, Nikita Koloff, Nikita Koloff, Four Horsemen, Rock and Roll Express, and that era. So we go all the way up to the NWO era. Now, see, the Attitude era, I didn't really watch it. I only know like bits and pieces of it. I never really watched the Attitude era because at that time I was watching the WCW, NWO, and that sort of thing. And when WCW went out of business, I think I just watching like I just stuck with Japan and Mexico at that time because who was a star in Mexico at that time? Rey Mysterio was here in the United States. Conan was here. I can't remember who was a star in Mexico at that time. So it
Well,
might have
you
been
got
like Blue Panther or Hideo Del Santo, that back then. What was you about to say?
Mal Mascarados, um, a lot of the guys from CMLL and AAA.
Yeah,
But like I said, that that era was really untapped for American audiences. So
right, right.
I'm surprised you really knew about all
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. How did I get into because when you suggest to do this, I start thinking about when I start looking at Japanese wrestling. I don't know how I started getting wrestling Japanese wrestling tapes. I don't know how it started. I think it's one of it had to be somebody from school was into it and had showed me how to get tapes or whatever. This is back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, where you have to know somebody that
Mm-hmm.
knows about it. It ain't like how it is now. You just go on the internet and hell, you just go on YouTube and look at matches. But back then, things was much different. You had to like know somebody that was into it. The same thing, like I've been reading Wrestling Observer newsletters since I was like 13, 14. And again, you had to know somebody that knew about the newsletters and show you how to get it or whatever. So going back to your Mexican wrestling, okay, so the Japanese tapes I was getting, it was like a mixture of different matches on there. And it had Mexican wrestling on there. And Mexican wrestling is totally different from
Mm-hmm.
traditional wrestling that we look at. Well, I can't say now because like I said, things was much different. So that's when I started liking it, and I started getting tapes that I made sure that it had Lucha Libre on there. So that's when I started looking at it. Same thing. We can go in the same thing with mixed martial arts too, because mixed martial arts originally started in Japan, and like I said, the person that was selling tapes also had like mixed martial arts matches on there and stuff like that, and that's when I started watching it. And do you know a UWF? The
Uh,
Japanese UWF, not the Bill
I,
Watts.
I was about to say I haven't heard that. Like I said, my stint only goes to um All Japan and New Japan pro
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah. So
I mean,
so UWF was like a shoot wrestling. They did
mm,
wrestling, and it'll be like if wrestling was real. That's how it would look. And that's pretty much what started mixed martial arts. So Ken Shamrock used to do it. Bass Rutten used to do it. See, and those guys, switched to doing mixed martial arts. So
mm-hmm,
that's when I started like mixed martial arts. It was the same thing. It was back then you had to like know somebody that was like into it. So yeah. So
mm-hmm.
Josh had want to do a pro wrestling show. So we came up to we do a review on AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the description on 411 Mania, and afterwards we can give our review because I got notes down for each show. Well, each match. I'm sorry, you didn't see the buy-in. You didn't see the buy-in, right?
I caught glimpses of it. It yeah, it was an okay match. Like I said, Danhausen and Mark Sterling. Like I said,
Hmm.
they bring the comedy aspect to to the serious side with Hook and Tony Nese. So
Right.
I thought that was kind of compelling.
Right. So
So
I'll read the match description. So, like you said, the match was Tony Nese and Mark Sterling versus what they call it Hookhausen, Hook and Danhausen. All right, Hook and Nese started things off with Hook taking them down without much trouble. Danhausen come in and is allowed to grab a headlock before Nese runs him over. The curse is loaded up on Danhausen. He goes to the middle rope hurricane instead. Nice drops Danhausen again, and Sterling coming in to stomp away in the corner. Sterling misses a drop kick, though, and Danhausen suplex his way to freedom, allowing a tag off the hook. Suplexes abound, and Danhausen gets to come in for the opposing pin on Sterling at 5 minutes and 22. And I on my notes, I pretty much said what you said. It was a comedy match, so you can't really rank it. And
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because for Mark Sterling to be a lawyer, he sure know how to take a suplex.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And here's a question: what does Danhausen do? Because I don't find him interesting at all, but the crowd seems to love him.
To me, Danhausen is one of those cult following workers. Like I said, he has following behind him from back in his indies.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he transitioned to Ring of Honor, like I said, he blew up. But like I said, to me, I think it's his mannerisms, how he talks, how he acts, his poses and whatnot. So it's he's a comedy wrestler of the likes of Colt Cabana. So
right,
yeah,
right.
just Colt Cabana just don't wear face paint.
Mm-hmm. And I also said that I wish they'd had Hook in another match. Is this his first pay-per-view match? Sort of pay-per-view match. I'm not sure.
This is his second buy-in.
Oh, okay.
Second buy-in. He had one in Revolution with QT Marshall. So
oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he needs to have another match. The guy has something. He's very interesting because he's different in his style, meaning he has that. He's pretty much like his father. Let's just put it like that.
I was about to say Hook is his old man. Like I said, if you watch the old ECW stuff with Taz in it, like I say, he's his dad.
Yep. And Taz matches was always short, like this one. It was always short. He'll come in and he'll do those suplexes, and it just made him look interesting. So yeah, I can't really. It was a comedy match, so I'm not really going to rank it or anything. So now we have the start of the pay-per-view with Maxwell Jacob Freeman versus Warlow Goldberg.
Yeah.
Here's the description. If Warlow wins, he is free of MJF, but if he loses, he's pretty much done. MJF is indeed here to hopefully things are okay. By the way, they're saying that there was some type of controversy that MJF wasn't going to show up and he's supposed to have left early. He didn't go to like some fan they had some type of fan event that he didn't show up to. So that's why they were saying that he was there. I think that's all like setting up a some sort of angle because well I'll get to why I think so. All right, let me go to the all right. Warlow is led out of a cell in the back where rowdy fans are kept to give him this is a Goldberg style vibe. The handcuffs were taken off. All right, let me get to the match. Okay. Warlow wastes no time trying to powerbomb MJF. MJF bells to the floor. Back in, MJF has to bite his way out of a powerbomb attempt before Cradle gets a 2. Hold on, though, as MJF is holding his leg, and even the commentators are calling him out for making it up. The delay gets MJF loaded up in the ring where the referee catches it this time. He put on a ring. He put on a ring, but the referee caught him. All right, MJF is scared now. He tells Warlow that he'll double pay. He ups to quadruple the pay, and Warlow shakes his hand, but doesn't let go. MJF knows he's done, and a powerbomb connects. This part of a 10-movement powerbomb symphony, at least one each side of the ring, and it tees the cover in the middle, which finished MJF at 725. Now, great way to set this up as an angle for Warlow. I loved it. It was quick, and the crowd seemed to loved it. So, what was your thoughts of it?
Well, okay. Let me touch on the MJF situation myself. To me, I think it was a work,
Yeah, I think so too.
but with that being with it being a work, there is some truth to it. There's some there's some stuff behind it, and from stuff that I heard, it might have been money,
Mm-hmm.
how much he's getting and stuff. And if me personally, if I was Tony Khan, I would try to give MJF what he wants. Like I
True.
said, he's he's right. He's Roddy Piper of the 2000s. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, like I say, he he talks and he talks good. You know, he is probably the ultimate heel that wrestling I've seen in the past 20 years.
True.
But um, but that the squash match was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to put Wardlow into a situation where he can shoot up the ranks and challenge for a title, whether it's the TNT title or the World Heavyweight title. Like I say, they need to put some rockets on his back and let him ascend to the top.
Right. Great minds think alike, because on my notes I said that props to AEW and MJF for the Warlow booking, because they booked him,
Mm-hmm.
because this angle has been going on since it had to be like what, November, November
Yeah.
last year. Because remember when MJF was talking about him and Warlow would give him that funny look. So this was like a long 6-7 months angle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's been longer than that. So yeah, I give them props for doing that. And like you said, he needs to see the thing about AEW, and it's not really their fault, is that they don't have enough TV time compared to WWE. I mean,
No.
they have the YouTube stuff, but who really watches that? So
Mm-mm.
and it hurts a lot of people not having TV enough TV time, because look at Hobbs. Hobbs should be up there also. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
I can't say he's stagnated, but it's just like he can't grow.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can't.
If AEW was on if they had a third hour like Raw does, and Rampage had like 2 hours like SmackDown does,
Right.
you can, like I said, you can put Hobbs and Warlow, and you can build storylines around these two guys. Shoot, even Ricky Starks,
True.
uh, uh, guys like that. But you know, 2 hours nowadays is not a long time with 20-minute time limit matches. So
Right. So after the match, it's confirmed now that Warlow was all elite, meaning he's in the mix pretty much with what Josh just said. So the next match, we have the Young Bucks versus the Hardy Boys, and let me read the description. The match starts things off, but Matt Jackson hands it off to Nick, who gets shouldered down by Jeff. That lets Nick get taken down into the corner so Matt Hardy can come in, meaning Nick bells to the floor. Mac Jackson comes in and gets caught in a Rage's Edge out of a corner, but Nick breaks it up with a super kick. It's Jeff coming back in and getting beat down, with Nick getting to pose a lot. Jeff finally gets over for the hot tag to Matt Hardy, who sends Nick into the buckle over and over. Brandon Cutler gets knocked down off the apron, and a hot tag brings in Matt as everything breaks down. They all wind up on the floor where super kicks and dives drop the Hardys. Back in, Nick pounds on Matt Hardy before a running knee sets up risky business for the two. Nick accidentally kicks his brother and then goes to Cutler. And then it goes to Cutler as well, allowing Jeff to get hit with a running clothesline off the apron. A side effect on the apron drops Mac Jackson. They're all down on the floor again. Poetry in motion hits Mac Jackson, but he breaks up a twist of fate swanton combination. as Jeff gets to jawbreak his way to freedom on top, even it means crotching himself. The Swanton misses though, and the Bucks hit their own twist of fate on into a Swanton for a 2. A bunch of super kicks drop the Hardys, but they're back up and demanding more kicks. The Bucks oblige for a double 2, so it's time to load up the steps. This take long enough that Matt Hardy's can Rangers Edge powerbomb Nick, leaving Matt Jackson to be loaded up on his steps. This has turned on their side. The Swanton connects Matt Jackson, and it's a twist of fate for a 2. Nick back inside. Another twist of fate plants Nick, and the Swanton finishes off Jeff at 1916. Uh, for the record, I never was into the Hardy Boys, but props to the Young Bucks because they really did good because as you can tell now, the Hardys can barely move, and pretty much the Young Bucks just bounced off them the whole match. At,
Mm-hmm.
at 1916, I thought it went a little too long. They could have shortened that up a little bit more.
Here's the thing about that. That was the first time that they wrestled in All Elite Wrestling, but that is not the first time that they wrestled against each other. During the height of Ring of Honor, they worked each other. They worked each other. Now, that match right there was a masterclass in tag team wrestling. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you, if you listen, watch that match. This match right here, it was watered down.
Yes.
Yeah, it was watered down. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but I'm not saying, it's a 5-star match. But I kind of waft through that match.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you can tell that the Hardys are not what they was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not even 5 years ago. So, but like I said, if I was Dave Meltzer, I probably had to give it 3 stars, or whatever. So,
right. Of course, great minds think alike again, because I said if it wasn't for this podcast, I would have fast forwarded.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dale, next match. Did nothing happen? Nothing happened. Nothing happened after the match. So we going on to the TBS title match. We have my girl Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. Jay is challenging and comes up through the elevator on the stage while Cargill has a bunch of showgirls with her. An early Queen Slayer attempt doesn't work well for Jay, and Cargill throws her down without much effort. A snap suplex and clothesline lets Cargill go up top, but Jay superplexes her down. Back up and running form staggers Cargill, and running blockbuster sends her outside. Cargill is sent back inside, but Jay has to take out the baddies with a double DDT. Back in, Cargill kicks her in the face, but Jay is reversed into a cradle for 2. Q smart Mark Sterling to throw in the crutch, which Jay grabs for a wrestling leg sweep and a near fall. Q John Silver to brainbuster Sterling on the floor, leaving Cargill to hit the eye of the storm for 2. Jade is countered into a clean slayer, but Cargill gets up and send her to the corner. They both go up here, and Stokely halfway for a distraction. Here is Stokely Carway for a distraction, so Super Jade can finish her at 7:23. I thought it was too many interferences when it wasn't necessary. Mark Sterling didn't have to come in and with the crutch, nor Stokely. Stokely shouldn't have to come in neither. The baddies didn't have to be there anyway. First of all, how does Anna Jay get a title shot?
I honestly don't know how they're ranking women's wrestling like that. Like it says, to me, it was odd that Anna Jay got a second chance for that title. I said, I don't like Anna Jay. I don't like Anna Jay because she's, she's good, but she's not great. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she still needs more seasoning before I would give her any more runs. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's been in the ring with this, that, and the third, but she's not, she's not as good as she thinks she is. So
Yes. Great minds think alike for what's this, the third time? Because I wrote down on my notes that Anna has to learn to run the ropes better. Did you see how she just
yeah,
like ran the ropes? It was almost like she was practicing
yeah,
how to race the ropes.
she was training.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, as far as the interference, yeah, there were one too many. I would have limited to Stokely Hathaway coming in and making a distraction, because like I said, he debuted. Like I said, if you have not heard this man talk, if you have not heard this man, cut promos, he is like a Black Paul Heyman with
Mm-hmm.
with you know 1990s hip hop vernacular. So
Right. And it's funny also in my notes, I said Tony Schiavone said he hasn't seen Stokely since 2007. And I'm like saying to myself, like 2017. I'm saying to myself, well, damn, he was just on TV 3 weeks ago. He said
yeah.
he hasn't seen him since 2017. Yeah. So after the match, Athena shows up, which is Amber Moon from WWE. She shows up and gets involved in that would be a perfect match between Jade and Athena for her to because uh Cargill is there's a person that she has something, just how we was talking about Hobbs and Hook. She's something special, but
Mm-hmm.
she's still green, and that's why she needs to have more experienced person for her to go against. Now, Athena would be a good person for her to go against.
Okay, I'm a flip the coin on this, because this is kind of bothered me about the signings and stuff. So at the beginning of AEW, it's supposed to be the land of the independents actually turning professional,
Mm-hmm.
and now you got all these uh, superstars that WWE released, and now they're getting filtered in AEW.
Right.
So you know you're you're losing a lot of uh, to me. I think having all them recycled wrestlers in AEW is going to lose a lot of that diehard fan base. Um, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love Athena. Like I said, she's probably one of the best female wrestlers ever. In the last 5 years. But like I said, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if all these released superstars overtake, these Genesis AEW stars?
Right.
So, but like I said, Cargill, Athena, that's gonna make for a good match. Personally, but I wanna see more AEW originals than you know recycled WWE talent.
Right. But when it comes to the women talent, they need all they can get because you only have a handful. I'm talking about that can really go.
Oh yeah,
That can
oh
really
yeah,
go.
absolutely, absolutely.
So if you can get Tony Storm and Athena, see that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Okay, go ahead.
Nah, I just like I said, research women independent wrestling. There's an abundance of talent that is like truly untapped. That AEW can pick up for pennies on the dollar. So
Right.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. So, like we mentioned, Athena comes out and Krista Atlanta come out, and they get in a shouting match with the baddies and Jay Cargill. And that ends the match. So the next match we have the House of Black versus the Death Triangle. The Death Triangle has a young boy who I'm assuming is one of their sons with them in the interest. And I read that because did you see how close that kid was close to the fire?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I said, damn, that kid was like damn near right next to that flame spit. Now nobody said anything to the kid, like grabbed him or nothing.
I think that was Penta's son, because I seen a similar thing at a Triple Mania 30 event against him and Ultimo Dragon. So he kind of did the same thing.
Phoenix flips out. Phoenix flips out of a back suplex and start, but they both miss spinning kicks to the head, meaning it's time for a cosmetic sit down, stare down. Matthews comes in and gets super kicked by Penda, so it's off to the floor, only to have Penda waiting for him with an evil glare. Kings come in and kicks down Phoenix springboard, setting up a six-way stare down. The brawl is on, with everyone getting knocked someone else down until Pac puts Matthews to leave everyone down. King is back up with a boss man slam. It's not me with this reading, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that the way this guy's writing sentences. I guess he was like looking at it and like doing it real quick. So it's not me talking this way. Matthew misses a charge in the corner though, and a high tag brings in Phoenix to clean house. Stereo super clicks clears the ring, and there are double dives for the bros. From the bros. Back in, Phoenix hits a step-up kick to the head on King, but Matthew suplexes him onto the floor. That sets up a series of dives until King hits a dive, a bet with a crash onto the apron on the way down. He totally missed that. He landed more on the apron than on anyone else. Phoenix gets triple teamed inside, including Dante's Inferno for it too, with Pac diving Black onto the cover for the save. Triple brain busters are broken up, and Death Triangle gets to kick them in the face in the corner. A springboard Canadian destroyer plants Matthews on the floor, and a top rope double stomp hanging DDT combination drops King to him. That leaves Black to get kicked in the face, but a lot of kicks on his way out of trouble. Pac kicks Black down and throws Matthew on the King on the floor. And Alex Abriana's distraction lets Pac kick Black low, and the lights go out. Cue Julia Hart to miss Pac, allowing Black to kick Pac in the head for a pin at 15-19. Great match, and that was the best match so far going on. That's what I wrote down on my notes.
Yeah, this was a true trios match. You like I said, I'm probably going to say this more than once after this, but styles make fights, and you got Lucha Libre versus hybrid striking. Like I said, it's no secret Malachi Black is a mixed martial artist at heart. Buddy Matthews, he's a striker, and Brody King, he's like I say, he's a striker and a bruiser himself. But with the storyline and stuff, there's nothing like a slow burn storyline with, and Julia Hart was fantastic in what she did. Like I said, even though it was a 5-second spot, 5 seconds, that 5 seconds made a bit of difference. So
right, that was also that's about a 9-month angle right there, because he blew the mist in her eyes. It had to be like, definitely was in the wintertime,
Hmm.
It had to be like in October, November.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I give props to AEW for the long angles of that. But this angle is similar to the Luna Vachon and Kevin Sullivan angle,
Yeah.
where she was nice and all of a sudden he like turned her, quote unquote, turned her out to his side. It's pretty much the
Mm.
same angle. It's on YouTube if you want to search Luna Vachon and Kevin Sullivan. It was an old Florida angle where it pretty much was the same thing. He like held her hostage, and first she hated it. Now all of a sudden she like liked it, and she was a part of the team. Whatever. That's when she like the Luna Vachon you see now. When she was wrestling with her shaved head and all that stuff, that's where that she had gotten that from
Hmm.
that angle on Florida. All right, next up we have the Owen Hart men's final between Samoa Joe and Adam Cole. Match starts off, Joe powers him into the corner to start, but Cole slips out and wants to test her strength. That goes to Joe as well, who sends him into the corner for a jump in the newsie. An elbow sends Cole to the floor where he manages to post Joe's bad shoulder to take over. Back in, Cole chokes on the ropes before wrapping the arm around and says rope. The Panama Sunrise is blocked though as Joe hits the rock bottom out of a corner. Joe's powerbomb is countered into a jump in the newsie and Cole grabs a crossface. Joe cranks on both arms, but Cole is on the ropes as well. Cue Bobby Fish to snap Joe's arm across the top, but the boom misses. Joe grabs the coquina clutch, which he has to let go, so Joe can take out Fish. Cole kicks him down and fires off more kicks, setting up the boom for the pin at 13 minutes and 15 seconds. I thought this was way too short.
My thing is Bobby Fish shouldn't have been there. It should have been a clean finish,
Yes.
especially with a tournament final like that. Uh, like I said, other than that, that was a good match. Like I said, like I just said before, styles make fight. Uh, Samoa Joe is a technical wrestler, and I mean Samoa Joe is a bruiser slash technical wrestler, and Adam Cole is a pure technical. It was a good match, but Bobby Fish should not have been there. Period.
Yes. Yep. He didn't need to be there, and the match should have been longer than 13 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So next up, we have the women's Owen Hart finals between Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho. Okay, both had Britt Baker had a guitarist playing, and Ruby Soho had the whole band playing her theme song to start off. Baker takes her down by the arm to start, but Soho is back up with a wrist lock of her own. Some kicks don't do much to Soho, who knees Baker out of the floor. Soho shotgun drop kicks off the anchor, has Baker rocked, but Soho is holding her ribs. Baker is smart enough to pull the ribs onto the post before stretching her out back inside. Some elbows to the ribs give Baker two, but she takes too long going up top. A superplex brings her down as JR talks about Soho owning a farm in Indiana. they they armed it and out until another double knockdown. No future is blocked, but Baker misses the stomp. Soho is back up with a Seattle suplex and a top rope backsplash gets two. Baker is back with the stomp and the lockjaw is loaded up, but Soho powers away. No future connects and a sharpshooter goes in, with Baker finally making it to the ropes for the save. With that Owen finisher not working, Soho loads up a victory roll, only have Baker reverse it into a cradle for a pin at 14 minutes 15 seconds. The match was okay. I mean, nothing special.
The match was good. Kind of an anticlimactic finish. Uh, I will say this: if you want to build a women's division, your your top star is Britt Baker. Bottom line, like
Hmm.
like I say, she's a five tool player. Um, like I said, she worked. She like I said, she got the move set. She know how to talk on the mic. She she gets over and as a face or a heel. So it's just one of those you can build a division around Britt Baker and you can't go wrong. But
Right.
with did you see those belts?
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry, but those belts were nice, man.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely better looking than the TNT and the TBS belts.
Yeah, yeah, those belts are I those belts are beautiful. I'm sorry.
hmm
But
Yeah, they were.
like I said, it was a real good it was a good match, okay match. Like I said, anticlimactic finish. Uh, but like I said, I can appreciate a clean finish like that though.
Right. So after the match, like Josh said, Dr. Martha Hart, Owens Hart's widow, presented them with the belts and a trophy. So the boyfriend girlfriend duo both won the Owen Hart for the men and the women's side. All right, next match we got Sammy Guevara, Frankie. This match was horrible too. I'll get to a while.
They look, they could have thrown that. They could have thrown that in the trash.
Yes.
That could have been a match. That could have been a match on. Uh, that could have been a match on Dynamite. I
Yes.
said it's just it was not a good match. The only thing I would say that the TNT title looks the color scheme on it looks good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is that that's a LA Lakers it's yellow and purple, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Laker,
okay.
yeah, Laker gold and purple.
Yeah.
So um, and on the back of it, it has Kobe Bryant numbers with the 8 and 24 on top of the strap. But
Okay,
other
see, I
than
didn't
that,
see that part.
yeah. But other than that, that match was trash. That should not
Mhm.
have. That is not a match I would have put on pay-per-view.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So don't even go into details of that one.
Yeah, I'm not. But I can say Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Tay Conti versus Men of the Year with Pay Van Zant. I'm not gonna read into it because it was to me it was also too long. And my notes I wrote. See what messes the match up. That's why when I started laughing when I seen the match come up. Who am I supposed to cheer for? Because the Man of the Year and Paige Van Zandt are the heels, right? But
Yeah,
Sammy Guevara and Takani are heels. So
yeah,
that's why the crowd didn't really give any reaction because who they don't like Sammy and Connie. So and they didn't want to cheer Men of the Year, so they didn't really have anything to cheer for. So the crowd didn't give no type of response.
it was it dragged. It dragged. There was no. There was. It's like watching a silent movie.
Right.
it,
And,
it, it was. It was boring. Like I said, it wasn't that good. They should have known better not to have this match.
and they should have picked a better match that the debut
Paige
Paige
Van
Van
Zant. Yeah,
Zandt, yeah, and they could have promoted it more. They met Paige and Ty Conti will be a better match than being in this 6 man.
yeah. Like I can see that match, but I know there's going to be interference which will water down the whole rivalry if they ever have one.
Right.
Um. So that
A- And another thing about Paige, did you notice that she has no type of facial selling? she
no.
she'll she'll take a move and just get right up and they'll go right into another one. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
dang, you gotta learn how to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Like I said, I know she's green as grass, but like I said, one of the first things in the business is learning how to sell. You know, you know, sell for the camera. All that grunting stuff. Like I said, she could that match right there. She couldn't sell me a box of Girl Scout cookies if they were free. So
Yes. So the next match we have Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin. Now Sting is supposed to be injured. Now is he injured or is his contract up?
nah, I believe he was legitimately injured.
Oh, okay.
The way he wasn't clear. He wasn't clear to go
Oh, okay.
to the ring. So
All right. Allen goes straight for the legs and gets kneed in the face to cut him off. Uh, Allen's face was he busted his lip from that knee to the face. So to start off the match, he's bleeding from the mouth. Riley starts working on the arm and cranking away. Back up, Allen gets in a few shots of his own to knock Riley outside, setting up a suicide dive, which nearly goes horribly wrong. Yes, it did too. Thankfully, Allen is back up, so he tries again, only to get pulled into a guillotine choke. Back in, and the Last Supper gives Allen two, and a small package is good for the same. A brainbuster plants Allen as he's able to fight off a cross arm breaking attempt. The ankle lock goes on, but Allen ties up the legs and reverses to a scorpion. O'Reilly makes it to the ropes. Allen goes up and hits a coffin drop onto Riley on the ropes before crashing onto the floor. Back in, O'Reilly goes for the arm again, but gets stacked up for a two. They strike it out with O'Reilly getting the better of things and wrapping Allen's chain around his mouth. Some penalty kicks set up a top rope knee to finish Allen at 10 minutes 33 seconds. I thought this was a good match, and I loved it how it wasn't no interference.
yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, that
Uh,
was a good. Very short, but that was good.
I like I said, I honestly don't know how Darby Allin don't stay in the hospital.
Yes. Hmm.
First and foremost, like I said, uber talented. Like I said, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like I said, the man can go. That man can do. Like I said, it's about those risky moves. That he does. But like I said, Kyle Riley. Like I said, if I don't go into a striking match with him. Like I said, he's gonna eat you up every time. So, but yeah, that was a great match. That was like 4 out of 5 for me.
Right. And it was a good way for O'Reilly to get a win on pay per view. Also, because they always lose. You ever noticed that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With him and Red Dragon. I mean him and Bobby Fish and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good statement win.
Yep. They always lose, and that was a good win for someone who's a top talent in AEW. So
Hmm.
I give them that. So the next match we have the AEW Women's Title match: Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa. They fight over a lockup to start and go to the mat with neither being able to get anywhere. Back up, Deed starts going for the limbs, but isn't going to work for Rosa. They go back to the mat with Rosa grabbing the pendulum to rock Deeb around a bit. A backslide gives Rosa two, but Deeb blocks a second one, allowing Rosa to hit an uppercut. Rosa knocks her to the floor, but misses a baseball slide, allowing Deeb to snap her across the top rope. A net breaker over the ropes put Rosa back on the floor until Deeb takes it back inside. Deeb ties her up into the corner and cranks away, setting up a abdominal stretch to stay on the ribs. Rosa fights out and hits a running corner clothesline, followed by knees to the corner. A Northern Light suplex gets the two, but Deep catches her in a corner and hits a diamond dust for the two. Deep Tox is broken up though, and Rosa slams Deeb's knee into the mat for a change. Deeb gets in a shot to knock her away, but Rosa is back with a Death Rally driver for a two. A chop block cuts Rosa down and hits the figure four with the two. of them slapping each other in the face at the same time. They roll out to the floor, but Deeb is grabbing a dragon screw leg whip onto the ropes back inside. Deeb gets to two, and the Serenity Lock goes on. Though Deeb gets to hit a power bomb, the Texas Cloverleaf goes in, but Rosa makes it to the ropes, setting up a kick to the head. Deeb knocks her down again and goes up, only to get superplexed down. Rosa isn't done and rolls her up into the Fire Thunder Driver to retain at 16 minutes and 43 seconds. Good match. Good world title match.
Yeah, they need to give Thunder Rosa more time. They need to give her quality opponents like Serena Deeb. Like I said, Serena Deeb is, like I said,
Mm,
a veteran. Like I said, she know her way around the ropes. I mean, and that's not to say Thunder Rosa don't, but you know, Serena Deeb is a top tier talent. She's always been a top tier talent. She just never really got to showcase it and stuff. So,
yes.
um, but they need to really like hone in on Thunder Rosa and the women's world championship. I believe ever since she's got that title, they really like you know took their foot off the gas with it.
Yes. Uh, Tony Storm is a good matchup for either Rosa or Deeb.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and first of all, I think Deeb they should match Deeb up with our girl Jade,
Oh yeah. Like I
because
said,
like you said, she's a veteran, and she would make Cargill look good.
okay, you remember the match back in the day with Goldberg versus uh Lord Steven Regal back in Nitro on
Yeah.
Nitro
Mm-hmm.
where like Goldberg didn't have nothing for Regal, but like I said, Goldberg still won.
Right.
What if you have that same scenario with D and Cargill? Like I
Y-
said, like I said, Serena Deeb is like I said, she's a veteran, she's a technician, and like I said, Jay Cargill is a power wrestler, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but like I said, she don't have a lot of moves or reversal in her arsenal. Something like that might. So I can see something that like that happening, and it goes over well.
Right.
So so just my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So nothing happened at the end of that match. So we have the next matchup. We have Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club, Santana Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. Anything goes with the society in all white, making them look like a painting crew. It's a brawl to start off with Wild Thing still being played. Like it seemed like it's going throughout the match. I thought that they was going to play that whole song, go play the song
Hmm.
over and over again throughout the whole match. Everyone brawls around the arena, and we keep cutting from fight to fight, including Moxley stabbing someone in the head with a fork. Kingston is already busted open, and as Jericho and Moxley get into some kind of a cart. Mano's face is covered with blood, and Jericho gets in a shot with Moxley with something. We actually go to the ring where Santana Ortiz suplex Hager. Jericho goes over to the soundboard and hits Moxley and finally kills the song. Some people fight to the back as Ortiz and Santana sweep Hager through the two tables at ringside. Moxley hits Jericho with a boom camera, and as Maynard and Kingston fight over mustard and at the concession stand. Garcia power drives Ortiz to the steps, and I think Maynard takes Kingston down with a t-shirt stand. Parker hits Danielson with a ring bell, and Jericho suplexes Moxley onto a row of chairs. Back up, Moxley chunks a cooler at Jericho's head as Tony dubs this as better than the Stadium Stampede. Garcia chokes Kingston in the concourse and drags him around the floor as Jericho gets the wall on Moxley on the announcer's table, which breaks. Back up, Moxley hits a suicide dive to take Jericho down as turnbuckles is unhooked. Some unhooking turnbuckle shots slow Jericho down as I think Kingston and Garcia brawl in a freight elevator. Moxley hits a running knee to knock Jericho out of a chair as Santana and Ortiz set up a ladder over other side of the arena. They hit big splashes to dive Maynard and Parker through tables as Jericho fires extinguishes Moxley. Jericho and Moxley pull themselves back in the ring where Hager and Danielson are pulling themselves up. The four of them sluggle out as Moxley and Danielson hitting the hammer and unveil elbows. Stereo goes on. Here is Kingston with a full can of gasoline. Kingston pours gas onto Jericho, but Danielson goes after Kingston for general hatred. Moxley is sent into a barbed wire board as ringside, and a turnbuckle shot to the head gives Jericho two on Danielson. A bunch of kicks rocks Hager and Jericho, including the yes kicks to the later. Danielson promises to kick the fucking head, and as Hager makes the save with a baseball bat to the knee. A half crab to Danielson with Hager choking him on the ropes gives Jericho the win at 22 minutes and 31 seconds. I was never a big fan of garbage wrestling. And I thought the part was funny how they said that about the cart. Now, do you see Moxley choking Jericho? And I guess they was trying to start the cart. Now Jericho is being choked, and he's trying to help him start the cart. And they just said the hell with it and got off the cart.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah,
was funny right there.
it is. I've never been a fan of
Hmm.
those kind of matches. Or like I said, 5-on-5 matches are one thing, but you're talking about a brawl all over arena, multiple cameras. It's hard to it's to me it's hard to invest. Those it's hard to invest on what I'm trying to watch and what I'm trying to decipher out in this match. So
Right.
like I said, I wasn't really invested until I seen Eddie Kingston try to pour that gasoline on Chris Jericho.
Right.
So, but like I said, I have I can't say it was a terrible match. I'm just saying, it's just it's hard for my small brain to keep up.
Right. Now the question is this the end of the angle?
I don't think so because you got to understand, uh, even though Kingston didn't get pinned, it's still 1-1. It's now 1-1.
Okay.
So there's going to be a rubber match somewhere along along the horizon.
Hmm.
But
Now,
it's going to be a slow burn though.
okay, so Forbidden Doors too soon.
Oh yeah, they're not going to showcase this on Forbidden Door. No,
Okay.
it's
All right. Well, nothing happened after the end of that match. So we going on to the tag team title match with the Jurassic Express versus Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Jurassic Express with Kristen Cage is defending. It's a brawl to start, and the fight heads to the floor before the Express hits a top rope elbow slide slam combination for two on Starks. We settle down to Hobbs, blasting Strickland with a clothesline. Lee comes in and staggers Hobbs with his shoulder, setting up Strickland's jumping knee. It's off to Jungle Boy for some suicide dives, but Lee pulls the big flip dive out of the air. Back in, Hobbs hits a suplex slam on Jungle Boy, and Starks grabs a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Starks tries to run to the corner and walk to the ropes, but stops to dance, allowing Jungle Boy to crouch him. Everything breaks down, and Starks gets tossed out to the floor for a nasty landing. And I thought he broke his neck doing that too. It almost like he landed
yeah,
like right on top of his head,
yeah. Hmm.
setting up for Strickland's moonsault off of Lee's chest onto the pile. That was awesome too.
Oh yeah, excellent spot.
Back in, Strickland hits a running kick to the head for two on Hobbs, and this Luchasaurus coming to clean house. Hobbs get kicked into the corner where Lee tags himself in, giving us Luchasaurus versus Lee. A double clothesline puts Luchasaurus down. having Lee to suplex Hobbs over the top. Lee hits a big no hands flip dive off on a bit, but Luchasaurus is back up with a fireman carry for two. Starks is back in to take Jungle Boy down for two, but Christian makes the save. The spear gets two more on Jungle Boy and a slingshot Rochambeau at the same time. Luchasaurus comes in back in, but Hobbs cleans house, allowing Starks to grab the FTW title. Christian breaks that up, and it's a Thoracic Express for the pin at 17 minutes and 18 seconds. This person here didn't really talk about the ending. They did that spot on Strickland. That power bomb was pretty much a power bomb on the top rope spot on the Strickland. This
Yeah.
person just like really didn't. I guess he must have went and didn't see it. But that was such a great match, and I was so pissed that Strickland and Keith Lee didn't win.
I think their time will come.
Mhm.
If they stay on as a tag team. Like I said, I've since Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus started tagging, I've always liked them.
Mhm.
Like I said, they got so much continuity and stuff. Like I said, and I kind of knew that they were gonna take this one. Like I said, they got more experience as a tag team than I think the other two combined. So like I said, you don't never really see Starks and Hobbs tag together like that
Right.
unless they're jumping someone. So,
Right.
but like
And
I said, it was a good match, though.
yeah, and like you mentioned about the slow build, I think Christian is going to turn on the Jurassic Express. I think some kind of way he's going to. Well, it's going to be more of a turning on Jungle Boy, and that's going to set off Jungle Boy into kind of like the single wrestling because it's going to be Jungle
Yeah,
Boy versus Christian. I couldn't understand why would they keep having Christian interfering. They're faces. Why do faces need to have someone interfering them in a match?
see, and like I said, that gives off weird vibes too. You know, just trying, is Christian a heel or is he a face? Like I said, that's is he trying to make Jurassic Express heel or what? Like I said, it's just those things, no one knows, and that's kind of confusing. So
Right. Right. So yeah, I think that's what they should do is have him injure Luchasaurus. So when Luchasaurus is out, then we can have Jungle Boy doing a little singles push going against Christian.
hmm
So
yeah,
I think that's where they. Well, I don't know about the injury part, but I think that's what they want to do because I couldn't understand why in the world is Christian like keep interfering. First of all, he shouldn't even been in there anyway.
no, he shouldn't have. It should have
And,
been 2-on-2-on-2. So
right, right. It's no need if it's a tag team match like that. It's no need to have anyone interfering on the side because
mm-mm.
yeah, because you have to focus on what's going on in the ring, not what this person is doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and we also forgot they did a vignette with Roosh is coming into AEW.
Oh God, I love Roosh, man. I
Oh
love
yeah,
him.
he's awesome. Yeah, he was awesome when in CMLL.
Yeah,
I didn't see any of his Ring of Honor stuff.
yeah, he was good. He was an excellent ring honor. Like I said, if you haven't seen Roosh like wrestling stuff, you're gonna love it.
Hmm.
Like I said, he works.
Right.
So,
All right. Next up, we have the main event: world title holder Adam Page versus CM Punk. They start off fast with Punk taking him into the corner and giving him a break. At bat with a break of the eyes. They strike it out with Punk getting the better of things, but they go into the mat and exchange some near falls. Back up, and Punk starts a string of slams, setting up a high crossbody. Page rolls through them and hits a fallaway slam into a nip up with Punk onto the floor. Page hits a slingshot crossbody to take him down. Back end, Punk slugs away, only to get elbow in the face to knock him silly. A running clothesline out of the corner looks to set up a buckshot, but it's way too early for that as Punk knocks him to the floor. That's fine with Paige, who gets into a powerbomb onto her apron and drop Punk again. Punk is back up on the top rope clothesline, gives Paige two, and Punk is tossed outside again. What looks to be a moonsault broken up by Punk suplexes him back down. They take their time getting back up for the slug out, setting up Punk's leg lariat. There's the running knee into the corner, onto a bulldog, into the springboard clothesline, and Punk is fired up. Page slips out of a GTS, and Punk grabs a neck breaker for the two. Punk goes up but gets knocked down, setting up a moonsault to the floor. Back in with the buckshot Larry is countered into a sharpshooter, sending Page over to the ropes. Both guys have countered their own finisher until Punk is kicked into the apron. Punk kicks him in the head and hits a buckshot lariat, but the knee gives out on the way. Both guys misses the GTS and Punk's running knee into the corner is countered into the last rod. Page rolls into a deadeye for two more before calling for the GTS. Punks kicks him in the head and tries the GTS, but Punks escapes and hits one of his own. They slug it out until Page kicks him in the face, but they fall down on the floor. Page throws him over the announcer's table and grabs the belt, what emphasizes is his. Back in, the buckshot lariat is loaded up and gets countered into a GTS. Punk swings him around and kicks the referee, meaning Page escapes into the buckshot lariat but gets no cover. Page looks to the belt and teases the shot, but second guesses himself. Another buckshot lariat is countered onto a GTF to give Punk the win and the title at 25 minutes and 58 seconds. Good match, but their ref bump was unnecessary. But I see where they're trying to go. Because this isn't the end for Page, as a title in a title run, because he can say, well, look, I'd have won if I'd have hit you with the belt while the referee was bumped. So yeah, that gives them a way that he can still be in the swing as in the title picture. But they could have they could have done it a different way though. But go ahead.
Like I said, it was to say the least leading up to it. It was good. It was good how they told the story about the AEW original versus the interloper that came in. So, like I said, you got two very talented wrestlers. One's in their prime. One is coming out of is on the downside slide of their prime. Like I said, the ref bump was on the ref spot was unnecessary, but like you just said, I said it leads to more things to come. So
right,
and that, like I said, and CM Punk, after he got the pin, you see the emotion on his face. That was raw. That was real.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, so I can appreciate that wholeheartedly.
Right.
So but the question is, how long are you gonna keep strap on Punk? Like I said, the first four champions have lengthy runs. If I was Tony Khan, I would not give CM Punk a lengthy run, not like of how everybody else got. I would give it at least 1 or 2 months. That, which I hope they do. So
okay, and you also have to mention that Kenny Omega is still on the bench, so to speak. So
yeah,
that's why I asked about is the Jericho appreciation and is that angle over with, because Bryan Danielson need a title run also.
I think he'll get one, but it won't. Personally, I don't think it won't be till like next year if he stays.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, the Blackpool Combat Club is catch fire, especially when Willa Yuta comes back from Japan.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, all in all, on a pay-per-view, it was entertaining, but pretty much what you mentioned before, some of these matches should have never been on here. They could have saved some of these matches for Wednesday. Let me go into it. Warlow and Maxwell was cool. Bucks versus the Hardys was cool. Uh, the Owen Hart stuff was cool. The Sammy Guevara match that should have been on. That could have been a main event on Dynamite or Rampage.
No, it couldn't have. No, it couldn't. No, it couldn't. Like I said, that would have been a mid card. That would have been a mid card match on Rampage. Like I said, that was a trash match. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get down with that being a main event on any other show.
What about Kyle O'Reilly and
trash.
what about Kyle O'Reilly and Darby Allin?
That could have been a main event on Rampage. That, right. Like I said, that was a good match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of this they could have. I think so. Double or Nothing is like their WrestleMania, right?
I would say it is.
Yeah, so that's why I went long that way.
The thing about it, which I kind of like, is like, they only do what 3 or 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it was fine. I didn't like the ref bump, and it's way too many interferences in matches. They need to cut that stuff down when it's unnecessary.
Yeah, like I said, stick to the basics. 1v1. Clean finish or dirty finish or hand on the rope, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let that just be something basic.
Right. So this was fun. So when's the next one? You want to do a WWE one, or you want to do a Forbidden Door?
Man, it's whatever. It's whatever with me, man. Like I said, you tell me what you want to do. I'll jump on there, and like I said, we get to talking about it.
Okay. So if someone want to reach you on social media, how could they reach you?
You hit me up on Facebook, Joshua Evans. My TikTok is the Big Stat. So is my Instagram. I really don't do Twitter like that. And my Snapchat is I'm _ the Big Stat.
Okay. Well, you can reach the Judgementals on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at pnljudgementals, Instagram at _judgementals, or you can email us at pnljudgementals@gmail.com. I appreciate you doing this, Josh. Thank you for getting me into the pro wrestling world too. I normally kept that secret.
Oh, for real? Oh man, go ahead, man. Go ahead with that. Nah,
yeah,
man,
I normally kept that.
I love you. But like I said, man, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, I love you too. Tell all the family I said hi.
I got you, man.
Hopefully, I might can come down there. The summer is too early. Maybe around holiday.
Yeah, get up with me, man.
Yeah,
get up with me.
Yeah. All right, Josh.
Let me hit my tagline. Get your mind right and get your stats up, baby.
All right, then.
All right, man.
All right.